Hey everybody, it's episode 203 of PodQuest.
That's too many episodes? I feel like I had to say that because I'm sitting in this seat.
I mean, honestly, like if there was a video, I probably would have pointed at you and said Walnut and you and said Druten, so it works. But also, no, it's not good when he says it. It's even worse when you do it.
See, you said it as a question. You can't say it as a question. You gotta say it as a statement. Like, that's too many episodes. That's too many episodes? No, you can't do that.
Anyway, it's Wednesday. No, it's Tuesday.
Yep.
It's Tuesday, July 17th, 2018. So, not joking, on my notes, where I put down the date so I can just read it, this week and last week, it actually says Wednesday, Tuesday, July 12th, 2018.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah.
I think you're a little off on that.
I'm not entirely sure how I did it, or why I did it, but it's a thing. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it.
I feel like I have to yell.
No, you can talk the same exact volume as you normally do.
Like, you're so far away.
If you talk too loud, then your things peak, and I have to like turn knobs. And let's not do that.
That's fun though, because then you have to actually do some work for once.
I have to do a lot more work with this than you do.
I mean,
if like we sat at a table with headphones, we wouldn't have to worry about it at all. But we don't.
We could. I mean, I have a kitchen table.
Yeah, but it's always a mess.
I mean, because we don't use it.
Yeah, but every time you said I'm going to clean my table off and we're going to try doing it there, months go by without you cleaning off your table.
I clean my table and then we don't use it for months and I stop cleaning the table.
I think the only time I see your table clean is when you have a party. So it'll be clean soon.
It will be. It'll be clean in 2 weeks. Definitely.
Anyway, I'm Chris. With me, Druten in
Hello.
Walnut seat.
Yep.
Walnut in Druten seat.
Kind of.
I guess they're all technically your seat.
He usually sits like over there, I think.
I vary it. I go back and forth.
I mean, I might stand at some point because he does that from time to time.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to do that before we get started, otherwise it makes all sorts of noise.
Nah.
He wasn't going to stand anyway.
Oh, I know.
I mean, the only noise that you would hear from me standing is like the cracking of my entire body because I'm so old.
No, I mean, like the microphone makes a bunch of noise when you move it.
I know.
So how about some news?
How about news?
There was no game news. I found one. I found one gaming news. That's in the last 7 days that seemed worthwhile. Anyway, like there was a bunch of like little things that just seemed like they weren't worth talking about. The one that I did find though, Naughty Dog confirmed that in Last of Us 2. Oh, I'm sorry, I have 2. I forgot I found another one right before I left. Naughty Dog confirmed that Ellie will have an NPC like counterpart with her in part 2.
Okay.
Kind of like she was to Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure how I feel about that. Because when you see that, the trailer they showed at E3 made it made it feel more tense by just having the one person there.
True.
And even though Ellie wasn't doing much to help in the first one because she was just like a little kid,
mm-hmm.
I always felt a little less tense in a lot of those situations. Like, the worst part in that game was like when you were Ellie by yourself and like she couldn't really take out people the way that Joel could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be that much of a major change.
I mean, it won't be a change. It'll be just like the first one.
Well, I mean, like, I feel like it'll be just, in my opinion, like, it was just as tense either way. Like, the time where you were just her felt equally just as tense as the time when you were him with her, because she couldn't really do a lot from time to time anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess just the atmosphere of the game, like having a person there to kind of, because they would chat and stuff at times, it kind of lightened everything. So there weren't those periods where you're wandering through sort of stretches of nothing, where you just don't know if something bad's going to happen. Because generally, like, characters aren't going to talk all happy and, well, not happy, but they're not going to chit-chat and small talk if they're trying to creep up on something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas,
I don't know.
If you're by yourself, you never quite know if you're in that situation or not. I'm sure the game will still be great. I was just kind of looking forward to having kind of that single person. Because I guess all the Naughty Dog games, like, at a certain point, you're always with somebody. Like, I think the first one, each of them has, like, the stretch where you're alone.
Yeah.
But the first one you're with Sully and you're with Helena and...
Uncharted, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, what did I say?
You didn't
just
say
said
anything.
the first one.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
Yeah, you pretty much always have someone with you in Uncharted.
Yeah, like there are plenty of stretches where you are alone, but you're equally as much with people, especially in 4. 4, you almost always had somebody. It was either your brother or Sully or Elena or two of them. Or
But we don't really know to what extent will Ellie have somebody with her throughout the game. Like, you like, what was the quote again? Just have...
That she is going to have an NPC companion, which
so,
alludes to it being most of the game.
It's an NPC companion. You could take that as, like, it might not be the same one the entire game, and it might not be the entire game, and it might be, like there's a give and take to it that I don't think it'll be, take you out of the tenseness. I think it'll be fine.
So, this is from Neil Druckmann. He announced during a BuzzFeed interview that Ellie will be accompanied by an NPC in the upcoming game. So far, the only gameplay of Ellie we've seen is of her fighting solo against a murderous group of enemies, but apparently that isn't representative of the full game.
Yeah.
That was from GameSpot. So what we saw of her fighting alone is not actually the full game. Like, the full game is going to be her with, like, a non-playable character roaming around with her.
Or by isn't representative of the full game could mean parts of the game you're going to be by yourself, parts of the game you're going to be with somebody.
That's what I just said. That you're going to be also with somebody.
Yeah, but...
But he goes on to say that Druckmann didn't confirm who the NPC would be, but said, so Ellie used to be an NPC, but she's the protagonist in this story, so the player is controlling Ellie. It's safe to say with the game that we made... that there was punctuation there that I just skipped over. It's safe to say with the game that we made in the past that there will be some NPC with you in this story, even though we're not showing the NPC in the demo. So it's going to be a similar Joel-Ellie dynamic by the sounds of it. Which isn't a bad thing.
Probably her girlfriend or somebody like that.
I don't know. I got the impression that maybe that girl is the person that she is out to avenge.
I don't know. I got the feeling that whole scene took place before the party.
I mean, we have no idea, because that makes as much sense as that being who she's avenging.
Yeah,
I just remember that first announcement trailer was her telling Joel that she was going to kill them all.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, like, if somebody that she had feelings for was murdered by this group of psychopaths, it makes just as much sense that she is kind of on the warpath to kill them all.
Yeah.
Especially since we've seen what those fucking crazy people do to their victims.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that, like, hang them by a tree and bleed them.
Yep.
But I see where, like, your mind was going too, that the reason that the girl said they should be terrified of you is because she murders everybody.
Yeah, or they probably all know that she was bit once, and maybe she's a ticking time bomb and could turn at any time.
Do you think that's actually, like, something that, like, her and Joel let people really know?
Who knows? It's maybe not her and Joel, but maybe between the two, something had happened to where it came out.
Well, that's what I was asking you. Like, do you think that's likely, that the majority of their, I guess, group know that she is immune?
Possibility. I don't know. I can't, like... I'm
You're
not saying
it's so indecisive. Come on, man.
I can't... I don't know, like...
Say yes or no. Just make a guess. It's not like you're right in the game. Yeah, you don't have money on this.
I mean, if I'm running the game, I'd have a decisive answer.
I don't know if you would when you can't even give me one for a rhetorical question.
I don't want to get my hopes up and say yes. I also don't want to get my hopes up and say no. Like, I'll be disappointed either way making that decision.
What do you think, Drew? Do you think everyone knows that she's immune?
No.
I'm with you.
I feel like that's something Joel... I don't think Joel would have made that not public knowledge, but I don't know exactly where things are by the time, like, we get to that dance scene or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Come on, man.
I accidentally hit the microphone.
Trying to Google shit over there.
I accidentally hit the microphone instead of the send button.
That's why you don't use your phone while we're recording. You put that shit in airplane mode.
Everybody uses their phone while they're recording.
I didn't say everybody, I said you.
If I can't, none of y'all can.
That's alright, I got 2 laptops over here. I'm good. So the other game news, Nathan Fillion has been replaced as Cade 6.
Oh, I saw that.
Has been replaced?
Yep.
Yeah, Nolan North is doing the final scenes for Cade 6 in Forsaken?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's part of the reason why
They kill him.
Yeah, like I'm sure they wanted to kill somebody, and Nathan Fillion just worked because maybe he's too busy to film anymore or to record anymore. I
mean, he made that fan Uncharted movie, a short film, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not too busy if he's making a fan short film.
Look, I'm not saying he's. I'm just saying I wonder because he has that show. I know he got a new show this season. I don't know if it did well or not.
I don't know.
No clue.
I mean, I think we went over this. I think like a couple weeks ago. Probably because he's just the most expensive person out of the entirety of the voice cast.
I don't know because isn't Keith David the voice of the guy?
What guy?
The other person.
I don't know who Keith David is.
Okay, so Cade 6 is for the Hunters.
Yeah.
I believe it's Gina Torres is the Warlock, and the other one, the Titan. Is Titan the other one?
Yes.
I think that person might be Keith David. I might be wrong there too. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
You do that, Mr. Laptops.
You're damn right.
You would know Keith David's voice if you heard it.
Okay, no, it's not. It's not Keith David, but he is also right. You would definitely know.
It's Lance Reddick, who was the financial advisor to the what's it called to the Queens in the first couple seasons of Arrow.
Oh, right. He was not the financial advisor. He was the stepdad.
Yeah, stepdad.
He was also the bellhop guy at the hotel in John Wick 1 and 2.
I mean, he's said a lot, but yeah, he was those two. But yeah, no, I don't think he's. I feel like Nathan Fillion's probably the most expensive.
Oh no, they got Bill Nighy. Bill Nighy is the voice of the speaker. Lenny James is Lord Shax.
I mean, the speaker had maybe 3 lines.
Listen, I don't even know who the speaker is, and I played through that whole story.
The speaker was the speaker died. It was the thing that got captured by
I thought that was a traveler.
No, the traveler is the big orb, the big like.
Oh, and the speaker was the thing that they killed on the ship early on, right?
The speaker of the traveler. It's not early on. At the end, by the end of the game.
I don't know. It was almost a year ago, and that game was kind of. The lore for that game is thick.
The lore for that it's so much lore for this game.
And because they did such a bad job of like translating it to people in the first one because you had to like read up on everything.
Yeah.
It made it harder to follow like some of that stuff in the second one, especially if you didn't play the first one to read all this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Nolan North is going to voice Cade 6 in Forsaken for however long he is in it.
I mean, it could also explain another reason as to why they're killing Cade 6, because as I've gone over in the past, Cade 6 is an EXO, and they can just pretty much bring him back to life as Cade 7, and maybe his robotic form has a different vocal box. And so Nolan North is now going to be the new Cade 7. Because they're going to need a new Hunter captain. So
that's true.
Probably that's what's going to happen. That could be something as well.
You know, the weird thing about it is... Well, no, I mean, it's not a weird thing. And I know what you mean, like, that they can just make him a new character without breaking their lore. But Bungie is making it sound very much like this is a permanent, like, that character is gone and no form of him's coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, every time an EXO dies, they lose a part of themselves. So it could be like you're kind of losing some form of Cade 6. He might not be as goofy or as ridiculous as he was before. So
since, because they show that his ghost is destroyed.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was about to say.
So since they show that, I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. So he obviously can't just come back to life the way other Guardians do because their ghost is dead.
Yeah.
But because of his species, they can just rebuild him as just like a new model.
He would come back as Cade 7. That's why Banshee 44 is Banshee 44. He's had 43 other versions of him that have all died. Because I don't believe he is an actual Guardian. He's just an EXO. And I think somewhere on the tower in Destiny 2, you can find a thing to read that your ghost will say, like, there's been 44 versions of him, that's why he's sometimes, like, is so out there. Like,
who is that?
Banshee 44 is the weapon munitions guy.
Okay, the weird robot who sells you guns?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Marvel is teasing some stuff. with San Diego Comic-Con coming up this week.
Yeah.
They sent out one teaser, I want to say it was earlier today, that just said blind spot, and it was like a picture of it's a very dark picture of an alley.
Okay.
With I think actually the date for it was tomorrow that they're going to show more for it. Blind Spot is Daredevil's pseudo sidekick right now.
Okay.
He's like an Asian American immigrant. He might be an illegal immigrant if I remember correctly. But he's super smart and he made like a suit that can make him go invisible, but it runs off of like D batteries. So he just fucking burns through it really quickly every time he does it. He's kind of a cool character though.
That's pretty neat.
So I guess maybe he's getting his own mini-series. I doubt he'll get an ongoing because the book will, even if it is launched as an ongoing, it'll be canceled in a few days or in a few issues.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's cool for them to like try and do something like that.
I saw like a trailer for a Marvel animated thing, which was it's got like Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, Quake, or not Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Quake, the Patriot.
Are you sure it was Captain Marvel, not Miss Marvel?
I can't remember. It was one of those Marvels.
Was she blonde or brunette?
She was able to like stretch her.
That's Miss Marvel.
Okay.
Captain Marvel is going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
She's the blonde.
It was a bunch of them. Like, let's see, Chloe Bennett's actually voicing Quake.
Was it for a game?
No, it was for a show.
I am looking it up real quick.
I wish I remember the name of it.
Because I know they do a lot of those, a lot of the actors from like the shows and all do those. Oh, is it Marvel Rising Secret Warriors?
That's it.
Okay, yeah, that is Miss Marvel, Miss America, Squirrel Girl. Oh, I bet this is supposed to be, the Inhuman stuff. That would kind of make sense. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't seen this. This is certainly a thing.
Yeah, the trailer looked pretty cool.
Okay, so here's what the Marvel Rising Secret Warriors will launch first as a series of 6 4-minute digital shorts, with the full film coming to the screen in 2018.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, other than Blind Spot, they showed that Spider-Gwen's ending this month. Like the last issue is this month.
Okay.
But that character is still super popular and is going to be in the Edge of Spider-Verse movie that comes out in December. So one of the teasers they've released was what appears to be Spider-Gwen, but they're calling her Ghost Spider.
Okay.
So they might be relaunching that character with a new name.
That's I think that's what they were calling her in the Marvel Rising trailer too. They were either calling her Girl Spider or Ghost Spider.
Okay. Which, based on the way the story is going and like for the wrap up of the book, her kind of being obviously not a real ghost, but somebody that kind of like operates in the shadows would kind of actually make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
They also teased another fucking X-Men team book.
Cool.
Oh, Jesus.
This one's going to be X-Men Black, because they're running out of colors.
Mm-hmm.
They have blue, gold, and red so far, and now they have black. It
There's
looks
plenty of colors left.
Yeah.
Mauve, Rouge.
But there's also 13 other X-Men titles.
Sure.
That title is not as bad as Mr. and Mrs. X, which is the Rogue and Gambit book that's coming out soon.
Okay.
Because why not call it Rogue and Gambit?
Why not?
But it looks like it's going to be like an X-Force-ish book, but with Magneto as the lead. So it'll either be a bunch of villains doing quote-unquote good, or Magneto will set up like that, the X-Men that are willing to kill people to go kill people that need to be killed.
Yeah.
That's what X-Force always is. It's Cyclops or somebody gets Wolverine and a bunch of other psychopaths to go fucking murder people that going to jail doesn't fix.
Yeah.
So yeah, Marvel is not going to be at San Diego with like a big Hall H panel for the movies this year.
Okay.
They did announce they were skipping that, but it looks like they're at least rolling with a lot of comic book related stuff.
Yeah.
Probably because like a lot of their books are kind of lackluster at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
There was a pretty good chunk of like TV movie related news. The first of which, Rugrats is getting a TV revival and a new live action CGI feature film.
Oh my god.
Because why not?
Because that's going to be the greatest thing in the world.
I mean, it totally worked for SpongeBob, right?
Is that what SpongeBob's movie was?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Was it full CG, or was it full live action, or was it just
I think just parts.
Yeah, when they cut out the ocean, it was live action, which
Yeah.
is normally what they do. They do live action with like animation or CG above it
Mhm.
or over it. Yeah, but Rugrats live action. I can't wait to watch Doctor Who with babies.
Yeah, I mean that is a thing.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, a live action film featuring CGI characters makes me think it's going to be like live adults and all the kids are going to be CGI and that's going to look fucking weird.
Oh, absolutely, because you can't have those kids. There's no way you can recreate those kids.
Yeah.
No.
Like, impossible.
Like, I don't know. It's one thing when you do it with animals, like the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Like having like a human running around with a bunch of animals where you can just do fur and stuff like that. But it's really hard to do a convincing human face and emotion.
Yeah. It's going to be so bad.
But yeah, that's slated for a 2020 release. And the series, I guess, will be out before that with 26 episodes.
Okay.
Which I did not realize. Rugrats was apparently on from 1991 to 2004.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think they only have like 5 seasons. It was just aired for that long.
It has 9 seasons.
Okay.
But you're right. It does have a weird... There was like 3 or 4 years where they didn't make new episodes.
Yeah.
And then they did the movie. And then they came back and did new episodes.
Yeah.
But they did those real weird, here's like 5 episodes, and then a year later, here's another 7 episodes, and then here's another movie.
Yeah. And
here's All Grown Up.
If you look at it, like, each season maybe only has like 10 to 15 episodes in it, tops.
Yeah, I think that the early seasons, the first like maybe like 3 or 4 actually were a little more substantial.
So 13, 26, 26, 17, 13. Of course, now it has to 36 episodes in season 6.
Holy shit.
14 and 7. Oh, and this is including All Grown Up. Although, actually, well there are 11 seasons according to IMDb.
Well, if it includes All Grown Up, that's why, because I think there were 3 or 4 seasons of that. But Rugrats ran concurrently with that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there was one episode of regular Rugrats where they did All Grown Up.
Okay, and then that did well enough that they spun it
where
off.
They
Gotcha.
did, yeah.
Then 20... Wait, weird. So, the numbering on this, on season 8, goes 1 through 14, then 26.
That is weird.
So, 15 episodes in 8, or there's 12 episodes that IMDb is just missing.
So it looks like there were
14 and 9, and 2 and 10.
So it looks like there were like 198 episodes altogether. I just went to because you're on IMDb, I take it.
Yeah.
I just opened up Wikipedia because it breaks it down a little easier. Yeah, it looks like the last 3 seasons were all 14 episodes, and it went. So season 9 ran from 2002 to 2004 with 14 episodes, and it looks like. Okay, so it was 91 to 92, 92 to 93, 93 to 95, 96 to 97, 98 to 98, 99, 2001. Okay, so actually it did run pretty, like, there were at least some new episodes every year since 1991. Well, until 2004 when it ended. That is actually something. Kind of like Doug. Like, Doug was only on for like 2 seasons on Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Like, it's only like 20 episodes on Nickelodeon.
Huh.
Yeah.
And then it went to ABC, and it was Disney's Doug, and it fucking ruined it, and everything was wrong with that show.
Because they aged them. Like, they grew up 1 or 2 years.
It was just a year. So, like, the last episode of regular Doug, I think, was like a summer episode. So Disney's Doug picks up, like, the beginning of the next school year.
Yeah.
And they're all moving from elementary school to junior high, and they changed all of the characters.
Yeah. Like,
Roger became rich, and BB, I think it was, became poor, and the girl that was heavy set became skinny. The kid that they never showed started showing up.
Yeah.
Like, there was always that, like, mystery kid where, like, they would always say his name, but he was just never there. And then, like, he was just there all the time in Disney's Doug.
Yeah. Doug, Nickelodeon in general was just, it's ridiculous.
There were 4 seasons of Doug.
Were there? It seemed like less.
Well, it's 4 13-episode seasons.
That's probably why, then.
Then, on ABC, it was 26 episodes, 8 episodes. Oh, no, that is the next year. 26 episodes, 8 episodes, then 31 episodes.
And then
so
the movie.
in 3 seasons on ABC, there were more episodes than there were on Nickelodeon.
Sounds about right.
But the thing is, on Nickelodeon, the only episode I ever saw was the Nematode episode.
That was the movie, too. Like, the movie, I think, was about that also.
I didn't even know there was a movie.
Yeah, Doug's first movie. And only movie.
I didn't know.
So Zombieland 2 is set for 2019 release.
Okay.
And the whole original cast is going to come back for it.
Awesome.
I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie. It was fun. It was silly.
It does make you wonder, like, where they'll... Like, that is 10 years later, because that first one came out in 2009, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds right, though.
Like, I wonder where that movie is going to go. Because it seemed like the whole zombie thing seemed to be fairly recent in the first one. Like,
yeah.
Like, the world had gone to shit, but, like, food was still food. Like, they weren't eating just, like, out of, like, cans of beans and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Twinkies last forever.
They don't, though. They have an expiration date just like everything else.
No, they don't.
They do.
They're Twinkies. They last forever.
No, they really don't. Look, that there is a shelf life. But yeah, I really want to see what they do with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I like that first one. It's just like that comedy, like suspense type movie that they had, and it was goofy, and I enjoyed it, and I like all those actors, so I'll see it.
Cool. Let's see what was next. Yvette Nicole Brown is officially, or she is the interim replacement for Talking Dead now.
Yes.
So it was announced like a couple weeks ago that she was taking over the panels.
Yeah.
But she is now also hosting Talking Dead when Fear the Walking Dead comes back.
Yeah.
In August? Oh, actually, you know what? It might not be... Okay, no, I'm sorry. So Walking Dead Season 9 will have a preview on August 5th. And then Talking Dead will also return like normal with Fear the Walking Dead on August 12th.
Okay.
But yeah, she will be the host until they either hire somebody full time or decide that if Hardwick is like allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Which I mean if Hulk Hogan taught us anything, he'll be back in 3 years.
Maybe. I mean, we haven't heard any further information from Hardwick's case, and we've heard some very opposite reports from both sides. So you never know what's going to happen.
So you guys want to hear some really sad news?
Sure.
I guess.
2 of the last 3 blockbusters are closing.
Oh, right.
Wait, there's still blockbusters left?
Yep.
3 of them, but there's about to be only 1.
They're all in Alaska, right?
Yeah, the closing stores are in Alaska, 1 in Anchorage and 1 in Fairbanks. And they'll be shutting down their retail business on Monday, July 16th.
Oh, so they closed yesterday.
They will... Oh, shit, yeah, today is the 17th, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They will then reopen today.
Oh.
Through the end of August, just to sell their remaining inventory.
As WoW Video.
Okay.
Well, I think WoW Video was a regional.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So they've stopped rentals as of yesterday and are now just in...
Yeah, they're just...
Sell
They're
off now.
in FYE now until the end of August. The only remaining blockbuster is actually in Bend, Oregon. So now we know why Days Gone has been taking so long. That studio just keeps renting movies from Blockbuster.
Yeah. Oregon, like...
I am actually surprised it's Oregon and not a third Alaska one.
Yeah.
Like, I understand Alaska, because I'm sure, like, Netflix doesn't have many distribution centers up there or anything, and it might be easier just to have, like, a storefront where people can rent stuff instead of, like...
And I know depending on time of year, their mail gets a little wonky.
Yeah.
And also, like, their internet is not great. So streaming is not always possible. So, like, that was the reason why blockbusters were still up there, because people were still frequenting them enough.
Yeah.
I guess maybe, like, maybe the internet has improved in those areas to the extent where...
Yeah, and like, Anchorage is the biggest city in Alaska, so I'd imagine they have decent internet.
But I think it's more like people were coming into Anchorage probably to rent movies.
Probably.
And then going back to their weird remote cabins in the woods.
Driving an hour and a half to get to Anchorage to get some movies. Drive an hour and a half back to their hovel and watch.
Okay, that's not where I thought Fairbanks was, but Fairbanks is, like, almost dead center of Alaska, which means it's, like, fucking 500 miles from anything. It's north of a city called North Pole, Alaska.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I didn't realize it had been this long, but it was in 2013 that Blockbuster announced they were closing all of their stores.
Honestly, if you had me guess, I would have guessed it was longer ago.
I don't know, it just doesn't seem that long. Because, like, I used to go to Blockbuster all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I had one of those, like, subscription things where I could just keep renting movies from them. And it was one of those, like, it was one of the mail ones. So, like, they would mail them to me. I could then take them into the store and rent more movies in the store while I waited for more movies to get mailed to me.
Yeah.
So like I watched a lot of fucking movies between like 2002 and 2005.
I think my parents have a Blockbuster copy of Mallrats that Vogel rented and never brought back or returned.
That sounds like something Vogel would do.
So it's just there.
I believe that 100%. Don't you still have a Netflix movie from like 2007?
I own it now.
Did you just buy it?
I canceled my DVD subscription and I was like, fuck it, I'll pay for it.
I mean, you paid for it 12 times over, if not more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's kind of like the end of an era, like in its entirety now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because like that Bend one's not going to be around much longer if the two Alaska ones are closing.
Almost certainly not.
So they released a little bit of detail about that time jump for The Walking Dead season 9.
Yeah.
And by detail, I mean vague allusions to the fact that they're going to be riding horses more and using more primitive weapons because gasoline and bullets are scarcer now that it's a few more years into the future of the apocalypse.
I mean, that makes sense.
Which,
after they did the time jump in the comics, they were using horses and stuff more, and
yeah, and a lot more swords and bats and things like that as because you figure. But after the time jump in the comic is when they kind of had the routes secure between the four main settlements.
Yeah.
And the people patrolling it were just on horseback, and they usually had like a sword or a club or something. Like they had a gun for like oh shit moments, but it was mostly like melee weapons to just bash brains in because they had kind of controlled the zombie problem for the most part.
They had a way to control the herd to where it didn't come to them.
Yeah, like whenever there was a herd, they could drive it away, but then like those random ones that would pop up, they had just kind of made a science out of kind of riding up and taking them out real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so stuff like that is at least leading me to feel like, okay, maybe they will get them kind of back on track as much as they can be at this point.
Maybe.
There is the new showrunner and all, and usually when a show like that's been on long enough, like changes showrunners, there is a big mix-up that following season, and you have like a show like Dexter that suffered for it. But then you have like other shows that actually, like, I mean, look at Walking Dead. Like, see, they changed showrunners between 2 and 3, and 3 was one of the best seasons. So
yeah, I feel like I don't think they're going to be able to pull off the Whisperers very well. So I'm just curious as to where they're going to go.
I think they can pull off the Whisperers. It's just I have a feeling it won't be a full bodysuit. It'll just be a head.
Maybe.
Which I think maybe it was just a head in the comic too.
It was a full suit.
Was it a full suit?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
So you guys remember that show Pokemon?
No.
Gotta catch 'em all?
No.
Wasn't that Ash Ketchum?
Exactly.
Tom Ado, right?
Yeah, he was really bad at that.
Yeah.
So you guys know there were some episodes that were banned?
Yeah.
Like there was the Porygon one, there was the one where James had boobs, there was the one where the guy pointed the gun at Ash, there was the super racist one.
I didn't know there was a
I knew about the one of those 4 you said.
Yeah, I knew about Porygon. I think I might have knew about the gun.
So very quickly, the first banned episode was it was around the Tentacruel episode and the SSN one. So like there's the SSN, they sink, they end up on an island, they get back, and there's an episode where they're on like a beach resort. One of those episodes in there involved a beauty pageant. And Misty and Jesse enter, and James also enters dressed like a woman, and he wears inflatable boobs.
Okay.
Very large inflatable boobs. That was banned in the US for a while. It got like an edited airing, but it only aired like twice, and then they never showed it again.
I wonder if I could find it on Netflix.
It is not on Netflix. None of the banned episodes are available on Netflix.
That's stupid.
And then there's the Porygon episode that gave all the kids seizures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's the episode where Ash catches the 30 tourists.
Right.
Ash has 30 Tauros.
Right.
He caught them at the Safari Zone. They do not show that episode. They only show the Kangaskhan Kid episode, not the actual episode where he's catching stuff, which is also, I think, the only episode they ever showed Dratini and Dragonair in like the original anime. Because the warden of the Safari Zone has a bit of a gun fetish and points it at everybody. And then, that was 3. And then the last one was, an episode with the original Jinx, when Jinx was still black.
Right.
Okay.
So that one was banned for racial insensitivity. That was in like 2002, I want to say. Maybe a little later. It's been like 16 years, according to the internet. But we now have another banned episode of Pokemon in the US.
Oh, great.
The most recent one, no one's quite sure why it's not airing, but people think it might be because Ash dresses like a Pokemon, and in dressing like the Pokemon, he puts black makeup on his face.
Oh, I did hear
God.
about this, yes.
So, like, it looks like, I don't know, I honestly don't know what that Pokemon is. It looks like either some sort of, like, monkey or ferret looking thing. It's furry. Like, it's got a bunch of fur on it, and it's got, like, a design on its face, but then, like, his cheeks and forehead and stuff are painted black. So, they're not going to show it in the US.
And I'm guessing it's from, Black, Sun and Moon?
Yeah, because it's the, from Sun and Moon. It's like the Aloha stuff, because he's on those islands, like, going through the school thing, I believe, in the current series.
Yeah.
But again, nobody knows for sure, but it's assumed it's for that reason. And that's what a lot of people on the internet are going with, which is kind of like, that's kind of a stretch. Like, I get it. Like, Jinx is a problem. Jinx is a problem the way Mr. Popo is a problem.
Yeah.
Like, both of those characters they're not okay. But Mr. Popo was on TV for a decade.
Yeah, but that was also the, 90s.
That was the mid-2000s.
Yeah, alright.
That it was the same time that they banned Jinx for the same thing.
That Pokemon. What's it called?
Your guess is as good as mine. But actually, I can probably just open up the article and tell you.
Passimians.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing them vaguely in Sun and Moon, but I mean, I hope that's not why it's not getting aired, because he had to color his face black to be the same color as this Pokemon.
Yeah, like, that would just be such a stupid thing if people are making that big of a deal over something like that. Like, I get it. I get when things are racist. Like, Jinx was a fucking racist Pokemon. Like, that looked like blackface. This does not. This is him dressing up like an actual animal-shaped thing. It would be like me dressing up like a black lab. Like, I'd have to put black makeup on my nose.
Yeah.
Like, last thing is, remember Batwoman's going to be in the crossover this year for the CW-verse stuff?
Yes. Apparently,
They're going to spin that off into its own show. There's going to be a Batwoman CW show.
I think we did talk about that in some form, that was originally what their plan was, is to see if they could get that to work.
No, but, like, this is confirmed now. It's in development according to Variety, and if it gets picked up, it will debut in 2019. So it could debut as early as winter.
Okay.
Kind of where Black Lightning debuted this past year.
So it could take off just after the crossover.
Yeah, like a few months later, basically. Yeah.
It just has me curious as to if it's going to be Earth Zero, or if she's gonna be from a different Earth. I can't remember what the teasers have said before.
I don't think they actually told us anything like that.
Yeah.
I hope she's not from this Earth. I hope she's not Earth 1, because then that leads to a whole bunch of other questions. Like, where's Batman? Where's Robin? Where's Nightwing? Where's Batgirl?
I mean, they've made reference to Oracle.
They made reference to Oracle, and they've said Bruce Wayne before, but they've also had these things happen where they were mass global catastrophes. Like, you would think Batman would have fucking dropped in for one of them. There's also the whole Ra's al Ghul thing. Like, Batman was Ra's al Ghul's original, like, choice to be heir.
Yeah.
And they used Oliver for that role in the Arrowverse. So, like, I'd rather... And they basically told us that Batman and Superman exist in Supergirl's world.
Yeah.
So I hope that Batwoman is either from that world, which would actually make sense because that world put such a focus on the female heroes.
Yeah.
To have Batwoman be part of that world.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Especially because Batwoman has a history with Maggie Sawyer, who was the cop that was engaged to Alex.
Okay. Oh, okay. That all works. And I mean, it would also just, in general, give kind of a redeeming quality to that portion of the universe.
It would show...
Because they did just get rid of, like, one of their better characters. Or two of their better characters, actually.
I think Wynn's supposed to be back, though. He is not gone for good.
I mean, I'm sure he'll be back, but probably not this season.
No, like, he is supposed to be in episodes next season. It's Mon-El that won't be back. He is off the show for the foreseeable future. But it'll also give us a dark area to Supergirl.
Yeah.
So, like, you have it in like, Earth 1 stuff, you have Central City tends to be the brighter, happier place.
Yeah.
And Star City with Arrow tends to be the shitty place where everything's just fucking falling apart all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much the same in Supergirl, where, like, National City seems like a pretty okay place to live. Confirming that, like, even if Batwoman isn't based out of Gotham, and, like, they base her out of, like, Bloodhaven or something like that, it at least still gives you that, like, here is sort of the counterpart to this place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll find out. It'll be, like, the 12th show that Greg Berlanti has on the CW at that point, though.
Yeah.
Because that guy is fucking insane.
He knows.
I kind of wish they would give him a movie. Like, let him make a movie.
Why make a movie when he's got 13 shows on the CW?
Because their movies fucking bomb.
I
Well,
know.
the movies don't bomb. They make a ton of money, but nobody likes them.
Yeah, I know.
And actually, I didn't mark it down, but they announced who is going to be on the Birds of Prey roster with Harley Quinn.
Okay.
So it'll be Harley, Cassandra Cain, what's her fucking name? Black Canary, and Huntress.
Okay.
So a bunch of people that have been on Arrow other than Cassandra Cain.
Yeah. I mean,
Who-
technically Harley was on Arrow, but technically wasn't.
Yeah. Cassandra is, she used to be Batwing, now she's Orphan in the comics.
Okay.
She's better than all of the other Bat sidekicks, because she's the only one that can actually, like, she could beat Batman. Like, if the two of them got into a legit fight, like, she would fucking win.
No one can beat Batman.
No, like, Cassandra Cain would win. She was raised from birth to kill people, to the point where her father refused to let her learn to speak.
Oh, wow.
She was taught to read people and their movements, as opposed to learning how to communicate with people.
Okay.
Like, she's fucked up, and she'll kill anybody.
Yeah.
She doesn't, though. Like, she's a good guy, but... Did you guys find any other news? I know you both kind of pulled out your phones and looked.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I scrolled through what I had saved, and it was all just
Yeah.
things for me to go look at later.
Yeah, like, I don't... It's that weird time of the summer where there's just not a lot of gaming news.
It's
but,
like, because it's Comic-Con, there was an Aquaman poster. The first Glass trailer comes out on Friday. This Friday coming up. Like, they had a teaser for the first Glass trailer. Yeah, there's not, like, a lot coming out because it's just the beginning of Comic-Con. Or
Comic-Con starts this weekend.
This weekend, so, like, we'll get a lot of stuff for next weekend, but...
Yeah, there'll be a lot of entertainment stuff for next week. I don't know if there'll be any gaming stuff, really.
I mean, Pokemon Go Fest 2018 was worlds better than last year's.
I mean, that doesn't take much.
Yeah, but it was like, it ran without a hitch. Like, that's what they said. Like, straight up, it ran this year, as opposed to last year. Amazon Prime, servers went down yesterday, because of Prime Day.
Oh yeah, like that was kind of rough. But that's not really news either.
Yeah,
Just
no.
people couldn't order on Amazon for a few minutes.
Yeah.
But I guess let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about the stuff we have done.
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're back.
Oh man, we're back.
Yep.
Let's start with Richie, since he wants to talk about his platinum.
Me? No, I didn't really do much, except I wish I should have gotten music prepared, because I would have played it right now. As I said, I finally, after 300 hours, platinumed Monster Hunter. I would have had it done sooner, but I didn't have somebody else to do the arena missions with, and those are a pain in the ass to do them by yourself. Like, when we were running them, I had 30 to do. We did about 20 in an hour. Like, you can stream through those so fast if you have somebody else, but when you're running them by yourself, it takes 15 minutes because the enemy's already preset for multiplayer. But yeah, so I did that, plus it's a summer festival, so I got everything I needed to get within the first 3 days of the summer festival, and now technically I don't have to play until August 1st.
Good. Now you have like 2.5 weeks to play other video games.
I have a week and a half. Well, that's right.
No, you have like
I have two-
you have
2 weeks.
15 days.
2 weeks.
You have 2
2
weeks.
weeks and a day to play something else, but probably not gonna.
Maybe
Who
you
knows?
should, though.
I might. I'm
this
not
way
sure.
you have something to talk about
I'm
next
not.
week.
I mean, I can. Like you said, I'm willing to talk about Monster Hunter now because I platinumed it.
I'm gonna eject the disc and take it.
No, don't do that.
He'll just rebuy it digital.
No, I won't. I'm regretting not having bought it digital because one of the reasons that I didn't want to go to play something else before getting my platinum was I was afraid I was never going to want to put the disc back in. Like, I would sit down to grab the thing, like, I should play Monster Hunter. But the disc is over there, and I need to put it in. Oh,
Man, you are beyond lazy.
I mean, sometimes you just want to play the game that's in your system. But yeah, no, they have the Summer Festival going on, so all their event quests are back. I still play it every day trying to find the USJ high rank quests. So Universal Studios Japan has had a code where if you went when the game first came out, you got a low rank event mission called called USJ something. That was only available in Japan because you had to go to Universal Studios Japan to get it. They then had a high rank mission a few months later. Now they released both those missions to all of Japan in its entirety without having to go to Universal Studios Japan. And in the United States, we only have the low rank version of that quest. So I keep going on to see if anybody's playing it in Japan through SOSs to try and get the rest of the parts I need for that armor set.
I'm going to make a suggestion if you're going to try that.
What's that?
You should get up and play at 5 in the morning.
Oh, I was 7:30 this morning.
Did you not go to work?
It's 8:30, huh?
Did you go to work still?
No, I did. I was up this morning at like 6:30. So I got a shower, I made breakfast, I ate, and then I was just tried it for a couple of times, ran one mission, and then watched comedians in cars getting coffee until I went to work. But yeah, no, I'm trying to do it like during active Japan times and hoping that I can get it, but we're just confused as to why they don't make it available to the US, because it was a temporary timed exclusive in Japan. Now it's fully Japan. Why not just make it worldwide? It doesn't make sense to us. And the armor that you make from that event quest, is the same armor type as the Rathalos armor type. So it's base Rathalos. So you can combine parts of that to get its base, its set, ability. And it's just a better armor than a generic Rathian armor, actually. And we want it, because it's an awesome armor, but we can't get it yet. But at least we got the sword from the USJ, so that now all we have to do is the high rank and get the high rank USJ. One of the cool things, same with the Spring Festival they did, is they added a fan-created weapon. So when you guys walked in, you saw me using the rocket sword. This one is a lance, where the shield is a ship wheel and the lance is a banner. So it's like really cool looking. It like flows in the air and stuff like that. It's really neat. And they have a new armor set for the seasonal event, where it's a diver gear. It looks very S&M type of stuff, and it actually looks really cool. And you can get the cosmetic of it too, so that adds it. But I'm just super excited for Behemoth on August 1st, because they've done a lot of stuff for that. One thing they added is an enmity table for Behemoth. So in Final Fantasy XIV, the warriors would generate enmity and threat and be attacked specifically. Anybody who's attacking the head of Behemoth more gets an enmity marker on them.
When was Behemoth in Final Fantasy XIV? Was that in an expansion?
No, that was in the Crystal Tower.
Okay, so you didn't get it until you got to that point.
King Behemoth was a boss in the final floor of Crystal Tower.
Okay, that's why I never saw it.
Yeah, it was one of the bosses on the final floor.
Okay, so I was just trying to remember. I'm just like, I don't remember ever seeing like a world boss or anything that was a Behemoth. I guess it was either an expansion thing or a raid thing. And
I believe there is a world event in Heaven's Ward as well. But the abilities that he uses are based off of the Crystal Tower abilities. So there's one point, they had a video, a full run through of them fighting him. And so they were explaining that you're gonna kinda have to do class sets where somebody's gonna just have to be sitting there poking him in the face or stabbing him in the face, while somebody else is using abilities to heal everybody, while somebody else is just dealing a bunch of damage. And it's like the first time they ever tried to say like you have to assign set roles, or set roles for each person. A healer, a DPS, and a tank. They've never had that before in Monster Hunter. Usually a monster just randomly attacks anybody. Usually it's the person who's trying to heal or sharpen or whatever else. They added one of the big abilities in that King Behemoth has in 14 is he drops rocks and then he calls a meteor down. And if you're not standing on the opposite side of where the meteor would hit on the rocks, you're going to die instantly. They added that, I think, as his final move. Like, if his killing move, you hit him and he calls these rocks down and then he calls down this meteor. You don't have enough time to run away. You have to get on the opposite side of the rock from the meteor. Otherwise, you're going to die immediately. So it's like some neat things that they added for this fight. That's this crossover fight from Final Fantasy. Plus the new armors for him. I showed you guys. It's the Dragoon armor from, I believe it's Heaven's Ward. It might have been from the original. I don't remember. Plus the Dragoon's lance is an insect glaive, so that's neat. I'm pumped for that. I can't wait for that. It's going to be awesome.
All right.
But yeah, I was so happy I finally platinumed it.
Congratulations.
It took me like 4 tries to make a well done steak because I haven't made a well done steak in years in those games.
Can't you just like throw it on and forget it and then it's well done, or do you have to actually have to do like specific like ingredients?
If you forget it, it's burnt.
Oh.
So you put it down and then he spins it, and then music plays and the steak will change. It's rare, well done, or burnt. So if you pull it off too fast, it's rare. If you pull it off at the right time, and you get maybe like 3 to 5 seconds to pull it off at the right time. It's not a lot of time to recognize when to pull it off. So it took me a couple of tries, but I eventually got it, and I was like, platinumed.
I mean, I would argue that a well-done steak is a burnt steak.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I completely 110% agree that a well-done steak is not a good steak. I'm a medium person myself.
That's even pushing it.
Medium rare.
I mean, I'll go medium rare, but I prefer medium.
Mediums for burgers.
I mean,
to each their own. As long as you didn't say well done.
As long as you don't get well done, yeah, you're good.
Though you do seem the type of guy that dips it in ketchup.
I don't dip in ketchup. I do put ketchup on my burgers, not on my steak.
All right. This podcast was about to be over.
I mean, I'll get some A1 sauce if I'm making a steak sometimes, but
that's
and
acceptable.
I'll dip in the A1 sauce, but I won't like
A1 sauce is acceptable if it's not like a good steak.
Oh no, if it's a filet mignon, I won't even cook it myself. I'll hire somebody to cook that filet. Like, I'll buy a filet, hire somebody to come cook it properly and give it to me because I just want it to melt in my mouth.
I forget where I was, but I had I don't really like prime rib. But we went out to dinner and we went someplace relatively nice. I got a prime rib and it was actually really good. Like, they cooked it very well, so like the fat wasn't like gristly and chewy and gross. Like, it actually melted as you ate it.
Yeah.
It was pleasant. I wish I could remember where we got that from now, because I don't remember.
I don't know either. But besides that, I watched some shows, and I watched one Netflix movie called Tau, T-A-U. It's a really cool movie. It's the dude's last name is Skrin. I can't remember his first name, but it's a woman. She's like kind of like an undesirable not undesirable as in ugly, but not really a criminal, but not really like a normal person, but she steals essentially for a living, but just to get by because she doesn't have a job or she can't get a real job. It's a futuristic society, and she gets kidnapped and tortured in this house where she's eventually able to break free, and she gets attacked by this robot AI that's in this house. The homeowner comes back, stops him, and is essentially like, you gotta help me finish this project I was working on because your attempts to escape blew up my lab from the information I was extracting from you and the other 2 prisoners I had. And so the majority of the movie is the woman making a relationship with the AI, which...
That's weird.
The AI is not connected to the internet or anything, so can't look anything up or learn anything, but is a very intelligent AI, and it's the best in its in any design of any AI in the world. And he's trying to perfect it by using readings that he gets from human emotions and stuff and putting it into the AI. The AI is voiced by what's his name? Commissioner Gordon. In Dark Knight.
Gary Oldman.
That's it, yes. He's voiced by Gary Oldman, and it's a really cool movie. I think it's
kind of neat.
I think it's only been on Netflix for like a month, less than a month. I'd say check it out. There was another movie on Netflix I was gonna look at because it looked really cool. It was I think it's like How It Ends or something like that. It's getting worse than terrible reviews, like ones from like Ebert or whoever it is.
I mean, you watched Bright and that got fucking shredded.
I actually, it got fairly.
Fuck. This movie's 20% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critic score, 53% on audience score.
Yeah.
You weren't kidding.
I was going to sit down and watch it, and I asked my friend, I was like, how was it? Because
Bright's 26 on Rotten Tomatoes, so not much better.
Yeah. I asked my friend, I was like, how was it? She's like, I didn't really pay attention to it. And then she sends me a picture of the scores, and she's like, this is probably why. And I'm like, oh, well, it had a neat concept, but I guess, like, from what I read, there's too many plot holes and stuff in it. It's like, there's aliens attacking the planet, and the dude wants to get to his girlfriend on the other side of the country or something. And it's got Forrest Whitaker in it, so I thought it was going to be good, because he usually makes good things. But I didn't get to watch that, and I'm kind of
Everybody needs a cash grab sometimes.
What's that?
Everybody needs a cash grab sometimes.
Yeah. He probably didn't have a big role in it. But besides that, I don't really think I did much of anything else of note.
All right.
Played more Pokemon Go. It was Community Day last week, or this weekend again. So we had because they had Pokemon Go Fest, they had a bunch of objectives nation or worldwide for different regions to get things done, and they gave America the easiest one, which was complete a bunch of daily tasks, get 5 million daily tasks completed. This is the easiest one because Americans are lazy. And the worldwide reward for getting it done is lessened walking needed to hatch eggs. So they really wanted America to get this stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
But I meant to look it up. I don't know if we achieved all our goals, so there might be a Zapdos Day on Saturday because of this. Might not be. I'm not too sure. It's not from the United States not getting their goal, because I believe just in Pokemon Go Fest, Team Instincts themselves did about 6 million daily tasks. Or research tasks. They're not daily. You can get multiples a day, and you can keep getting them each time you fill up and finish. So, I don't know if we got it, but it was a nice day. Sunday was a nice day, besides the intermittent rain that we got from time to time.
Yeah, and then it ended up clearing up later on.
Yeah. Like, we went out at, I think we left to go out at like 8:30, 9 o'clock to go to Red Bank. And by 10:30, we were going back to the car because it was getting ready to rain and thunder and lightning. And then it was done by 1 o'clock. I was like, man.
Yeah, and it actually became like a really nice day in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was a little humid, but yeah, it was a nice day. But yeah, that's it. Unless you want me to talk about Blue Apron. They should give us money, but.
No, because I stopped using Blue Apron. They fuck up a lot.
Do they?
Yeah, like every third box we got, either an ingredient was missing, an ingredient was broken. We had a lot of shit broken, and that was on the delivery. Like I watched the one time when the car pulled up to deliver it, the guy took the box out, literally just dropped it on the ground in front of him so that he could put other things back into the truck, and then didn't even walk all the way to the door and just kind of tossed it.
Well, what was broken?
Usually eggs, and a couple times I had some of the plastic bottles actually snapped.
Okay.
Because like the thing with Blue Apron is they just kind of pile everything into the box.
Yeah.
Like Home Chef that we've been using puts each recipe in its own bag.
Yeah, that was one thing that drove me nuts. Like I get this giant box, and in this box is a giant bag. I open this bag, and in this bag is a cardboard box. I'm like, all right, this is probably the first recipe. I pull it out, and just everything rolls out of this cardboard box. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's both accoutrements for both recipes were in this box because they wanted the meat separate from everything else, even though the meat was in a bag, and I'm like,
yep. The way Home Chef does it, and what's the other one? HelloFresh does it too. HelloFresh just has them in like paper bags.
Yeah.
Home Chef actually puts them in like little plastic bags with like zipper locks on them.
Yeah.
All of the ingredients go into a bag, and the bag is labeled with what the recipe is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have like your recipe card that actually shows you how to make it. Any sort of protein is usually underneath of that between ice packs to keep it like as cold as possible.
Yeah.
And occasionally, if there's like a bread or something like that they don't want you to refrigerate, they'll keep that outside of the baggies too, so that you just know to like put like the rice or the pasta or something just right on like a shelf.
Yeah.
But then other times, like if it's not like a fresh pasta, or if it is a fresher pasta, I should say, it'll actually it'll be in the bag. You just put it right in the fridge.
Yeah, like, I wasn't super happy with the packaging, how much plastic there was with this. I still have the bag, the insulated bag, and the 2 giant ice packs they gave me. I'm like, I guess I'll keep these, cause like, there's so much waste and so much plastic waste at that I'm like, this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna cancel, and if anything, buy their cookbook, and then just go out and buy the ingredients I need for half the price.
If you want, I can actually give you, I might be able to give you like either a free week or a free meal for Home Chef if you want to try that one.
Oh, I'm always down for free food. So.
Cause I honestly, I think the Home Chef meals have been better quality. Like, they've been better meals for the most part.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any. We got one bad ingredient. We got one pepper that was moldy on the inside, and there was no way to know it was moldy on the inside till we cut it open.
Okay.
But like, I used to get bad vegetables from Blue Apron all the time.
Yeah.
Like spinach that had gone bad, or like like they'll give you like oregano and stuff like that you would chop up, and like all the leaves are black already.
Yeah.
And
it's like, it might be part the delivery, or mostly the delivery aspect, or maybe when they packaged it, or how fresh the ingredients are, as to why this is actually
exactly
that was all actually happening.
But yeah, the Home Chef stuff, like I said, we've gotten that one bad pepper.
Yeah.
It was a pepper, so Erica ran to the store real quick while I continued like prepping stuff, and just bought a quick pepper. It was like $1.
Yeah. Like, that was I don't know how Home Chef does with dietary restrictions, but for me, like, one of the things they had that I could get from was like a pork banh mi. I was like, that sounds delicious. And so I looked up, I was like, are there, like, can I get gluten-free bread or anything from you guys? Like, we don't do gluten-free anything. You just have to go out, and you have to know what you can and can't have, and go out and get the substitutes yourself. So I ended up having to spend, I think I spent like $10 to get a bottle of gluten-free soy sauce and 2 gluten-free French baguettes. So it was worth it.
I believe so. Home Fresh they will mark things as gluten-free on them. Not every week seems to have like 3 gluten-free items though.
Yeah.
I think that's how it ends up working. But Blue Apron and Home Chef are the only 2 that actually let you do like a pescatarian setup.
Yeah.
So like HelloFresh, it's either you want meat or you only want vegetables, and that sucks.
Yeah.
At least with Home Chef, we can do like the pescatarian one, and we'll usually get like, it's usually 2 vegetarian dishes and then a fish dish, which like at least works for me. Like, because then the other nights of the week, like, we'll make like chicken or something like that, and I'll actually have real meat.
Yeah.
But having the 2 vegetable dishes, they're usually actually really good, so it's not a big deal. It's usually a lot of like pastas, and they do really cool flatbread things, which I realize you would have to get some sort of substitute probably for.
And I'm fine with having to get the substitutes. Like, at this point, I'm just like, I'll try the Home Chef or whatever it is, the free whatever I would get from them. But for me, I'm more interested in just going out and getting the cookbook. And because it frankly, in the long run, would be cheaper.
You can also just get the recipes for free every week off their website.
Yeah.
Like, if you just sign up and then just every week go in and skip every week out that you can, they send you the recipes anyway. It's like, hey, here's the recipes for this week if you wanted to see what they were.
Yeah.
So,
because it's just like, for me, I'm like, that's just, will I ever use an entire thing of creme fraiche? Probably not. So that was a nice thing to have, like, just enough, or like goat cheese. That was nice to have just enough for that dish. But I mean, maybe I could just make that dish 3 weeks in a row and then not have it for a while. Like, it would end up being the same price to eat it for a few weeks in a row than it would be to get 2 meals out of whatever they're giving me. Like, for me, economically, it just makes more sense just to go get the recipes and make them myself.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Home Chef just straight has the recipe on their website without having to do anything at all.
Oh, does it?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, because like I just pulled up their website, and one of the second thing on there for this week was hot honey salmon. I'm like, interesting.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And I hit the thing, and just like you scroll down, and the recipes, just all the ingredients
And what to
and the
do.
recipe is
Yeah.
right there. And there was a button, just download recipe, and
Yeah, so you don't have to buy a cookbook. You can just do that.
There you
yeah.
go.
So
Like,
now I have that recipe downloaded, and me
Nice.
and Sarah
Yeah.
buy stuff to make that.
and see, like for me, I'm like, I'm a very plain eater because I want to try to eat healthier and lose weight, but sometimes I want to make these fancy recipes, so
Well,
I could just.
So if you look at these recipes, they're all under 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
Normally, they're under 700.
Okay.
So like, they're actually not bad for you if
Yeah.
you're making them as indicated on there.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them that like whenever I look, I notice they're between like 5 and 6. Every once in a while, you'll have like one of like the flatbreads will be like just potatoes and cheese on a flatbread, and that one's higher.
But you're also looking at the bread plus
Exactly.
whatever.
It's
It's
the
the bread,
bread and the
plus
potatoes and all the cheese and the sauce that you put onto it ends up
Yeah.
adding up.
whatever. Yeah, so like that was my week. I was supposed to go down to shore on Saturday, but I ended up getting like fairly sick through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm still actually having the ends of it. So I ended up just having a very lazy weekend this weekend.
That's fair. Hey Drew, do you notice like every so often he almost wraps up and then he starts talking about
Yep.
something again?
Oh, I
No,
asked.
you can. It's just it's funny because there were 2 times where like you started to like say like, well, that's what I did, and I was gonna throw it to Drew, and then you started talking about something else. I'm like, all right, cool. Like,
Well, no. Well, that's why I was like, I could talk about Blue Apron, give us money, and then we started talking about it. So,
Anyway, Drew, what were you up to?
All right. So I forget if I ever talked about The Staircase on Netflix.
I don't think so.
All right. So it's a true crime documentary series.
I've seen that. I really want to watch it.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it. Like, no, I really don't know. But so,
Are you done it yet? Or-
Oh yeah. We
It's a
watched
show?
all of it.
Or-
Yeah,
okay.
it's 12 episodes or something like that. 14. I don't know. It wasn't a lot, but not like.
It's the one
3.
about the guy whose wife just so happened to fall down the stairs and die.
Mhm.
But didn't he have like a wife before then or somebody before then fall down his stairs and die?
Yes.
Like in his past, and
Yeah.
so they thought it was murder.
Hmm.
And I don't know the rest of it. I haven't watched it, but it
Sounds
was,
like murder to me.
possibly.
So watched that, all of that. That was interesting. I recommend it if you like true crime stuff, like Making a Murderer or That Evil Genius. Also watched that. I talked about that before. Watched some of Nailed It.
It's a good
And
show, right?
It's fucking hilarious.
You started watching it too.
I put it on as I go to sleep right now, and Edna Mode is a real life person.
Yep, she is
Oh, all
awesome.
right.
Look up her fucking cakes. Her cakes are incredible.
Yeah, her
Every one of
flower-
her flowers looks like a
Yeah.
real goddamn flower.
Flower work is amazing.
I think I only watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes of season 2 is what
Oh,
Sarah and I
okay.
were watching because she had
Right,
already
'cause she
watched all
watched-
of season 1, and then started watching the show called A Shot in the Dark, I believe it is. Now I'm gonna have to double check.
Shut in the dark, and you're to blame.
Dark.
Right? Right?
No.
No? Well, he's looking that up. Did you know Voltron next season starts in August 10th?
I didn't. I
Yeah.
still haven't watched anything past the first season.
I think that's going to make at least 3 seasons this year.
okay.
I think it's 1 season per quarter right now,
It might be.
which is nuts.
Yeah, so it's called A Shot in the Dark. It's on Netflix. It's about these guys. They're called stringers out in LA. So
What was it called again?
A Shot in the Dark. So they work basically like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. and they're going out. It follows mainly 3 guys who work for 3 different companies in LA. They have these cars equipped with like 4 different police scanners, a high-end laptop, and, you know, some of them have like an iPad in there, some of them just have their cell phone, and then, you know, high-end video cameras, and they're going around and trying to record footage to get put on the news, like the 5 or 6 a.m. news that next morning.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, like they're trying to get to car crashes, fires, shootings, whatever they hear on the scanner, they try to get to it if they think it's going to be interesting enough for the news to buy the footage from them.
I think that's similar to that movie Nightcrawler
Yes.
with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I think it was Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So,
I didn't realize that's what that movie was about.
Yeah. I never seen it. I really wanted to, but that's what that's kind of supposed to be. Like, he's some sort of reporter at night.
mhm. But yeah.
So they're not really. So they're like freelance.
Yeah, they're all freelance. And, you know, they may only make money if the news companies buy their footage.
Yeah.
So they're like Peter Parker.
Kinda, yeah.
Is this like a real show, or is this like a
No,
huge?
This is real. So, like
a real it's
Like
a documentary type.
yeah,
thing? Okay.
yeah. So, yeah, like Cops. Like, they have the people from Netflix with them,
Okay.
but, like, you're also watching them go film stuff.
Okay.
So, like, spoiler for a thing that happens in the second episode, like, the one company is just 3 brothers that go out and do it. Then there's, like, another company that's 5 to 10 people, and then, like, this big company that's, like, 20 to 25 people.
Yeah.
That's even weirder that they're companies and it's not just like fucking weirdos driving around at night doing it on their own.
Yeah. But, so, the one brother in the small company, who I think, like, they're, like, the main focus, really, like, the owner of that one small company
Yeah.
is, like, the main focus, and he's an executive producer on the show. But, so that's probably why they're the main focus. But,
He's probably like, I'm not making too much money with my company, so let me make a show about my company
Mhm.
and make money both by my company and by the show about my company. But I gotta throw a couple of people
Yeah.
a bone here.
so the one brother hears a report of a stalled car on, I think it was the 101 freeway in LA. It was on one of the major freeways in LA.
Yeah.
So this SUV is stalled in not the leftmost lane, but the next one in on it's 4 lanes each way.
Yeah.
Just stalled there. So he pulls up, is in the shoulder on the right, sitting in his car, just filming as cars go by. A couple clip this SUV while the taillights are still on. Then eventually the car dies completely. Taillights go out. It's like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, there's street lights. It's a big black SUV with no lights on. Eventually, I forget what it is, but some car rams the shit out of it from behind, sends it flying. The car catches in flames, and the guy goes, "Oh shit," drops the camera, runs, and goes and rescues this guy from the car.
Well, at least he knew what the right thing to do was.
Yeah, well, and, like, they all talk about it, like, they're there to record shit, but if, like, things get to a life or death situation for someone else, they're gonna put the camera down and go save someone.
Yeah.
But they're usually getting there after the fact. Like,
yeah.
this was a rare time where someone was there to, like, watch the thing happen.
That's interesting. I'll have to watch, like,
That does sound really cool.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated in those cop type shows, like Cops, show like that.
Mhm.
Even as stupid as like the Lockup Raw shows and
Yeah.
stuff like that. For some reason, I've always just like been fascinated to watch like this kind of like people in jail and then like cops doing things and people doing stuff like this.
So yeah, that's like a little bit of a twist on that because it's not always the cop. Like, you're kind of seeing the other side of things.
Yeah.
So it's neat. It's really cool. But yeah, so that's it for what I've watched. Amazon has been giving away a ton of free games on PC if you have Amazon Prime. I have played one of them, which was Battle Chef Brigade. It's a match 3 type puzzle game / action platformer set in like a fantasy Iron Chef.
Oh, I do remember this game. I never played it, but I remember it.
So, like, I forget, I watched the intro, but wasn't super paying attention, but essentially, like, the setup is that, like, the world is, you know, it's all fantasy, there's more than just humans, there's, like, orcs and whatnot, but, like, the chefs are, like, the big warriors and have magic.
Okay.
And, like to join the battle chefs, you basically have to go through like an Iron Chef competition, and your character like lives in a small town, works for a family restaurant, but wants to join the battle chefs, but her parents are like, no, we need you here. Like, if we lose the restaurant, we lose the house and whatnot, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So you run away and you go to the tournament. But, the setup is you get to the arena, there are 3 colors, there's red, blue, and green for fire, water, and earth. You'll have to make a dish that's one of the 3 random elements is the main component, and then they'll give you a certain ingredient that they want you to focus on as well.
Okay.
And then you'll have whatever the timer is. You have to run out into just the world outside, and it's a 2D side-scroller platformer with, like, beat-em-up game, and you have to go kill the things, and they'll drop random ingredients. That'll all be a couple different gems, usually all one color, sometimes they're 2, depending on what it is. So, like, the plants that you kill will usually be green for earth. The animals will be either the red or the blue, depending what they were. And then you have to take them back, put it into your little, I think it's it's like 12 by 12 grid, and then rotate them to match 3. And as you match 3, they level up, and then, like, you'll get to 2nd and 3rd level, or I think 4th level gems. And the higher gems you get, and the better you do with matching what the judges want, your score will go up, and you have to get a higher score than the other person.
That's interesting. That sounds ridiculous.
It's a little bit, because, you can only carry so much, so you have to run out, kill stuff, run back. You can start making your meal, and then, oh shit, I ran out of stuff, run back, go kill more things, run back, and you gotta juggle the time and your stuff, and what the judges wanted, and all that, and it's pretty neat.
That's nuts.
And it looks nice. It's all hand-drawn, or, well, not like...
It looks hand-drawn?
Yeah, it looks hand-drawn, but, like, not like Cuphead, but it looks anime.
Okay.
But yeah, so played that, and then, H1Z1, NHL, Diablo, still playing all those. And then the last thing I did was I went to the NJ GamerCon.
Which was 2 weeks ago, I think?
Yeah,
Not this
it wasn't
past weekend,
but the weekend before.
Yeah.
It was their first year at the Crown Plaza. They had been at one of the hotels in Runnymede.
Oh, okay. See, I thought they were still in Runnymede. I didn't realize they were at the Crown Plaza.
Yeah, no, it was at the Crown Plaza this year. It's right between Geek Fest and Too Many Games for how the size was. They had like one big, their main room was where all the vendors were. Then behind that was their tournament room. Across the hall was their game room, which they had one section of all old systems set up. I don't think there was there was a PSVR, so there was at least one PS4 there.
Nice.
And then there was a bunch of old arcade cabinets. And I think there was one arcade cabinet that was someone with like a new indie fighter game. It didn't look very good, but I didn't.
So it was like a cabinet that somebody just had a PC in.
Yeah, I think so. And then John St. John was there.
The voice of Duke Nukem?
Yeah. He was mostly there the Saturday. We went on Sunday.
Okay.
But yeah, they are kind of right in the middle of those 2 other local conventions for us.
Which, like, Geek Fest is super tiny, and Too Many Games is a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But I always feel like, I don't know, I don't like the game room at Too Many Games, because it's a dark room, and the only things that's ever open are the arcade cabinets that don't work.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you had Too Many Games?
Not this past year, but I went the 2 years before.
Because I was there last year, and it wasn't a dark.
When I was there last year on Sunday, the room was dark. Like, they had all the lights turned off.
Oh, well, anytime I've been there, it's, like, bright on and going, and I mean, yeah, it's such a small
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
convention
it's so
that like,
small and tight in that room.
Like, because they try to focus on the music, but they don't have really music going on, and every year it's the same stuff.
Yeah, I guess, you know what, that's true. They had that big room for, like, the music, and nobody in there watching anyone play music.
Yeah, like, I mean, every time I've been there, I go there for the music, and I go and watch whoever's on, but they don't always have, like, good timing for musical acts. Plus, a lot of people go there for, too many games at least, for their after party for Saturday.
Right.
And at least last year's after party, or it might have been the year before's, like, they said it was supposed to be one person, it was supposed to be one set of people, and then it ended up being completely different without any notice.
Nice.
Like, I think it was supposed to be the Megas, but it ended up being Mega Ran. And
I mean, that's still cool.
well, not if you don't like rap.
I mean, sure, but Mega Ran's cool.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a cool guy, but I mean, if you're not that into rap and you're looking forward to the Megas, it's...
I don't know who the Megas are, but I know who Mega Ran is.
You know who the Megas are.
Do I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you go to that thing, that one little thing Aaron ran?
Yes.
They played that.
Did they?
Yes.
They
Okay.
parody Mega Man 2's music so every character in Mega Man 2 they play a song for and make a story about them.
So I know the X Hunters because I know the guys in that band. And there's that other one who does the concept albums about Mega Man.
That's Proto Man.
Okay. I've never heard a single song they've ever done. I just know that's what they do. I don't listen to any of that, though. So, like, I believe you that they were at that thing. But, like, you could play their music for me and I wouldn't fucking know who they were. But I know who Mega Man is. I've heard some of his music.
You should listen to the Megas. They're really good.
You know what? Like
we've had to have talked about the Megas like a million times over this thing, and
I don't know that we ever have.
I mean, I talk about them all the time. I know because I've seen them at at MagFest at least 3 times.
I probably was fucking just out. It's probably one of those things where I just didn't retain it.
Because you don't listen to me ever.
I listen to you sometimes.
No, never.
When you talk about like music and Monster Hunter, though, it's just fucking in one ear out the other.
Yeah, which is why I always have to explain to you that every time there's a new monster in Monster Hunter, there's new armor. Every time.
I mean, that's because Drew and I don't care about Monster Hunter, though.
But, I mean, you'd think you'd at least hold up that and not be surprised that there's new armor every time.
Nope, every time. Every single time. Hey, at least I'm engaging you about your hobby.
I engage
be
you.
Be happy I'm not saying you don't, I'm just saying be happy I engage you about it.
You would like the Megas.
Okay. I'm not saying I wouldn't. It's just...
So, you know, like, whereas a lot of the, like, video game music bands just play the music, the Megas wrote lyrics that make sense for all the Robot Master level music.
Okay.
And, like, they use the bass, like, tune of the music, but they've added to it an actual legitimate song.
Okay.
And not just, like, had the 8-bit in, or the whatever it is, in rock form.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fair. Go ahead about NJ GamerCon.
And then, so, there was one, little, indie game, tabletop game there, running a playtest. I don't remember the name of the company, but the name of the game was called DM Derailment.
Yes.
So...
Wait, you didn't go, did you, Rich?
No, he's told me about it before. And
okay.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name before.
I was just saying yes, just to have him think I was listening.
So...
I heard the stop, so I said yes.
So, we played... It was 3 of us playing. Me, one rando, and then the guy from the company that had been doing the playtesting most of the day. You essentially are playing as a DM and you're trying to get your players to level 5. You'll get a character card that is a person that will have some flavor text to them. Usually it's just something silly, and it's like a picture of a real person that they have on there. I think it's people from their studio and their friends. Like one of the one guy is the guy we were playing with.
Yeah.
And one of the other cards was that character's girlfriend.
Okay.
So the girlfriend on her card, it has a thing, she's out on the first turn. So her stats don't count on the very first turn she's in play. The boyfriend has a thing on him where any turn that the girlfriend is out, he's out. So the rando we were playing with got her, and I had the boyfriend. So on our first turn, we were already at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Against the guy we were from the studio we were playing with, because we were both down a character immediately. So each round you get 2 loot cards, and then you roll for initiative. Whoever has the highest goes first, whoever rolls second highest goes second, and so on, for how many ever people are playing. First, you have to play one of your loot cards on someone else, then you play one of your loot cards on yourself.
Yeah.
So sometimes, the loot cards will both be positives and negatives. So sometimes they're just a +1 to one of the 3 attributes. Sometimes you are a -1 to an attribute. Sometimes it's you're out for this turn, and some are if a certain type of card comes up in the encounter, that character is immediately dead, and then you would lose that character.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll wind up with 2 negative cards, and you wind up having to play a negative on yourself. The other layer of strategy to that is each character can only have 1 loot card played on them per round. So if you have a particularly good character and you go first, you want to play, if you have a positive, or even sometimes if you have just a -1, you want to play that on your best character so no one else can fuck with them that turn, which is a layer of strategy that me and the rando we were playing with apparently caught onto way faster than anyone else that they play tested the game with that whole weekend.
Yeah.
No one else caught on to that level of, oh, I need to protect my own guys. And so we were the only people that actually went through the entire encounter deck, which is the card that gets flipped to then you roll and see if you get the point to go up a level or not.
Yeah.
So the 3 types of encounters are monsters, which obviously you would add up your top row and roll a d20. If you get higher than the number on the card, you win. If you get lower, you lose.
Yeah.
No negative for losing on that one, but if you win, you go up a level. Then there's diplomacy, which is the middle column on the or middle row of attributes. If you win, you gain a character if you don't have 4 characters, or if you lose a level.
Yeah.
And then there's traps, which if you win, you gain a level. If you lose, one of your characters dies. You get to choose which character, although they might they might change that, but you would get to choose which character. As long as they were actively in that turn, you pick one of your characters to die.
Yeah.
And then they're out, and you would be shorthanded, or unless the last thing is everyone gets 2 DM tool cards, I think they were called, which are completely random. So I got steal a character from another player was one, and another that was draw 1 player character.
Okay.
Person I was playing, rando we were playing with, had if a monster encounter comes out, squash it and immediately replace it with the next card. And then I think the same for a diplomacy. And then I forget what the guy from the studio had. His 2 were, but
yeah,
it was neat. And like I said, we were the only ones that apparently thought enough about playing while playing, even just having seen the game immediately, to make them go all the way through the encounter deck, which they weren't exactly sure what they would do if the encounters were to run out.
It sounds silly fun.
Yeah, it's definitely...
Yeah, it does actually sound pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's real simple, but also has a decent enough level of strategy to it when you start to actually think about it.
And this was an indie game?
Yeah.
Just a small team of people.
It was 4 people.
That's pretty
there.
cool.
Yeah. And they were super nice. I gave them our card. I took some of the cards with us. So, but yeah, that was that.
Some of their cards, but you can't even shout out their name because you don't know it.
And I don't, because they didn't have any cards for them.
Okay.
So, I signed up for their mailing list. I haven't gotten an email yet. So, but again, it's 4 people. If that, it was 4 people were there.
Yeah.
But I actually don't even know if all 4 of them actively work for it, or if 1 or 2 of them were just boyfriend, girlfriends hanging on or whatnot. But I'm pretty sure it was 2 dudes and 2 girls that were there, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was fun. I could see that growing into something more next year. Especially, they're trying to get industry people there.
Yeah.
So, I would like to see them, like, the way their game room was set up was kind of weird. Like, it was a U-shaped room. Like, there were tables on 3 sides, and then just seats in the middle.
Okay.
And it was pretty cramped, so I didn't even bother trying to go sit and play anything.
Yeah, honestly, that Crown Plaza Hotel just does not have a good layout for those things, because that's where Monster Mania usually is.
Yeah.
And they have so many people, and there's just not space for people to move.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, it's not fun to go to.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of expensive, and you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. There's not a ton of, like, hotels in the area that have better layouts for it that they can probably afford, but yeah, that Crown Plaza, I don't really like going to things there.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to, like, a Geek Fest where it's just in a big, like, gymnasium.
Yeah. I wish I had looked at their tournaments earlier and seen that on Saturday they had an NHL 94 tournament that I
Nice.
would have probably wrecked people in, unless any of the other local NHL94.com people showed up, or people that haven't gone on the site and know the tricks to that game. But I kind of would have liked to shown up and played as, like, a real shitty team
And just win.
and just win. Just because I know the weird things about that game.
Yeah, I wanted to try to go. I can't remember what I was doing that weekend, but there was something that Saturday that I had a birthday party to go to that Saturday. So then that Sunday when I woke up, I was physically drained after that birthday party. So I just didn't want to move when I woke up Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, the Sunday there wasn't that much going on, so we kind of got through everything in, like, 25 to 30 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
And then sat down and played that game for, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we left, because we had seen everything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
And that's the show, guys.
Oh, stop.
What have you been up to?
I didn't play any new games.
Alright, that's the show.
But, like, you and your wife came over on Sunday and we played some stuff.
Oh yeah, we fucked around with the SNES Classic.
Yeah, we played a little Contra 3.
Fuck that game.
A few
Fuck
rounds of
Contra.
Street Fighter 2.
Yep.
And a couple races in Mario Kart. Then we jumped over onto the Xbox and we played Cuphead for a while. Mm-hmm. That game's challenging, even with 2 people.
Yep.
The one nice thing about 2 people is you kind of have that, you can save people infinitely. So, like, you don't have a number of lives, you just have to get to their floating ghost before it floats off the screen.
Yeah.
Downside is, like, occasionally, like, you'll die and you're in the air and there's just no way to get to you. But I think we went through, like 5 or 6 of the bosses? We did the whole first island.
Yeah, we cleared the first island.
And then we got to the second one, and by that point it was like, all of these things are going to take way too long to complete. We also played Halo 2 for a while.
Yeah.
I forgot how long the opening missions in Halo 2 were. Like, the first, especially the second mission, like when you first get onto the planet, and there's that long, like, tunnel portion to it.
I played Halo 2 once on easy mode, just so I could get the story, because I didn't care about anything else, and I beat it in, like, 2 hours, so I don't really remember
I don't believe that
anything.
at all, because we played for 2 hours and only got through 2 missions.
Again, easy mode.
We were only on normal.
Yeah, we were on normal with 2 of us, where, like...
I think times we, like, either of us died was 3, and at least once was because we didn't realize there was friendly fire on.
Yeah, I totally forgot friendly fire was a thing. The Master Chief Collection is not great for co-op, either. Like, I mean, it's not that it's bad, it's just, it does not make it obvious how to do it. There's not, like, a section for it. You just have to have both controllers on and signed in, and it just starts it into it. But like, so...
But it's like, it didn't the first time.
Yeah, I had to back out and then go in again, and the second time it actually loaded it as co-op.
That's weird. Interesting.
Yeah.
I've only played Halo 2 once, and I think I know I beat it in one playthrough, or in one sit. So I can't really remember much of anything besides the story.
That game does a really bad job of waypointing you. There were times where we had no fucking idea where to go.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, it doesn't do a good job of pointing you in direction.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But no, I know. It doesn't do a good job of, like, pointing you in direction, but I feel like the level design is well enough that... So I played through some of that single player.
Mm-hmm.
it is way easier when you can see the whole screen at once.
Fair.
The split screen definitely does make it harder to know where to go, but they do a pretty good job of the game just naturally kind of the natural flow of the game, you tend to go in that direction. I was having trouble just because it was split screen and it was throwing me off a little bit. Because I have not played a game split screen like that in, I don't know, a decade. But other than that, we also played a little Trackmania and a little Trials Fusion. Just maybe like 10, 15 minutes of each. Those are both cool little like time killer games.
Yeah.
And we played the Trackmania has a mode where 2 players drive one car. I forget what it was called.
Hot Seat?
No, Hot Seat.
No, Hot Seat was a multiplayer thing. Yeah, I forget what it was called too, but it was a neat mode.
Yeah.
And not nearly as hard as it sounds.
Yeah. You would think it would be way harder, but like it shows an arc across the top of the screen with there'll be 2 arrows, and then at the bottom of the screen are accelerate and brake on each side in 2 different colors, red and blue by default. I don't know if there are colorblind modes to change it, if that would even really be an issue for that. But you can see like which direction each player is turning and like how far they have their analog stick over, and whether or not they're accelerating or braking or both.
And actually, the circle that turns changed color when you brake too. It turns yellow when you brake.
Oh, is that why it was turning yellow?
Yeah. So
I never figured that part out.
I kept seeing it happen. So one time when I knew you weren't braking, I tapped on it and it turned it yellow.
Okay.
Yeah. Anytime one of our circles were yellow, one of us was braking.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did notice the color change on that, but I never...
Yeah, that was what was doing it.
I never pieced it together, because I wasn't really ever looking at it.
Yeah, like, it was just always kind of there in my periphery, so... What are you, like, focused on over there?
There's a spider at the window. I'm trying to figure out if it's inside or outside.
Oh. You're just, like, staring intently.
It's a huge orb weaver spider, so I'm just trying to figure out if it's inside or outside. It's making a nest, or it's making a web. I'm assuming it's outside, but I don't know. So, I am paying attention, but it's...
No, you're just, like, focused over on the window. I'm like, what the fuck is he staring at?
Yeah. I am listening. It's just... I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, these things will only make any sense to you, probably. I got Erica to watch anime.
Yeah, I saw her post that.
I did see this post.
Yeah.
So, she likes Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yes.
We just watched the Fusion episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did you leave her on that episode?
That just happened to be the last one that we watched. So the last one we watched, which is only episode 4.
Yeah.
Of Brotherhood. And she likes My Hero Academia too.
Yeah.
She has not watched all of it, but she's seen like enough of them, and she's watched like the last like 5 of them too.
Yeah.
So
I saw her post that on Facebook, and I was like, I made jokes as like one of us, and I did see that picture of like Homer saying, "Come sit down," and one of her friends was like, "You should check out Full Metal," or you should check out Full Metal Brotherhood, and she's like, "I will when I'm done." I'm like, make sure that's not what you're already watching.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch the original. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but Brotherhood's just better.
Brotherhood's world better. Like, I would say watch this one, and then if she wants, watch the original, but she doesn't have to. Yeah. I mean, I made a suggestion for Death Note, the anime, not the movie, because I feel like that might be something she would like.
I don't know if I would like it, because I didn't like the concept in the movie at all, and I know the movie was very different, but I know like the concept is still there, and I just found it kind of boring.
I mean, it's like the movie just had poor delivery of it.
Oh no, believe me, that movie was bad, and I'm sure the show is loads better.
Oh, it was worlds
just
better.
Like the whole idea of it just kind of bored me a little bit. But
I mean, I suggested to her because I know she likes the horror stuff and suspense stuff as well. So
yeah. I
was like, this is something that's probably up your wheelhouse. It's my all-time favorite anime, and I think she would like it.
I want to get her to watch Bleach.
Oh God!
Just the actual episodes, no filler.
I mean, yeah, it's a good series.
I just don't know if there's any place that I can stream all the dub. Because Netflix doesn't have all of the dub.
Netflix should have a bunch of it, and then Hulu should have the other bunch.
Okay, is it on Hulu?
It should.
Okay.
It should. See, I think we went over this probably like a couple weeks ago. Netflix had from beginning till episode 170 something.
Yeah, they have like 3 seasons.
Yes, they had through like episode 175. Then they came out with a game, Shattered Sword or something like that, for the Wii, and it was just waggle controls. That was it. I have it.
I vaguely remember that.
In that came, I believe, a download or something for 2 episodes, for 176 and 177. Then Hulu has everything after that, or should have everything after that. They did at the time, they might now. So, you might be able to do it between Hulu and Netflix, and I believe the 2 episodes that are download are just filler episodes anyway. Maybe just like trying to build up the movie of the time, which is what Shattered Sword was preluding to as well. So, the movie was really cool. That was the Hellverse. That was a good movie.
I saw one of the movies.
I think that was the first movie, was the Hellverse. It was really cool.
Yeah, that does sound familiar. It actually looks like Netflix only has like maybe like 45 episodes now. They've got 3 seasons, and every season has about 20 to 22 episodes.
Check Hulu, if not Funimation, most likely has it.
No, it's not a Funimation show.
Or,
it was
a Shonen Jump, so Viz probably has it.
Yeah, Viz is I think Viz has it. I don't know if they have a streaming service.
Or Crunchyroll, then. Crunchyroll will have it.
Crunchyroll doesn't do dub.
Oh. They don't?
No. Crunchyroll is only ever subtitled.
Okay.
But like Hulu may have it.
Yeah.
I didn't think to check there.
Hulu should have it.
But I'm just curious how she would feel about that show, because that show has some really cool moments, and
Yeah.
like it's got an interesting story when you kind of streamline it and get through all the filler. So I think like skipping all those really boring filler arcs, like she might enjoy it.
Yeah, like she might like it. She might enjoy that one. My favorite thing ever, like, because there was always a battle between Bleach and Naruto, which one is better, and which one is more childish. Everyone always said Naruto's more childish, but I'm like, because I've watched every episode of both of them, I'm like, actually, Naruto's a lot more serious and actually has character deaths.
You know what though?
Whereas Bleach doesn't.
Naruto doesn't. Like, Naruto is very childish up to a certain point. Like, the whole original thing's super childish other than that, like, spot in the middle where, like, everything kind of goes bad. But then, like, there's 3 years of filler where everything's childish again.
Yeah, and that's why, like, if you skip that, just like if you skip Bleach and you just watch the core stuff and not the fillers, Naruto's actually a lot more of a serious anime than Bleach was.
Especially when you get into, like, Shippuden and you get near the end. Like, not near the end, but once you get a couple hundred episodes in.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem with Naruto, though, is if you watch from the beginning to end, it's, what, like 500 episodes
600
altogether?
episodes.
Yeah, like, that's way too many episodes.
Yeah. But again, 150 of them in the original run are filler, and probably go to 150 of them in the second run are filler.
That still leaves a 300 episode series.
But that's
Bleach.
A
lot of episodes.
That's Bleach.
I think if you cut out all the filler, though, Bleach is probably like 150.
Maybe 200. Yeah,
because, I mean, you figure that there are 50 episode arcs that can get cut out entirely.
Yeah.
Because it's like the arc after the second, I think it's the second, fourth, and then like sporadically in near the second to last arc is all filler.
Yeah.
Or the third to last arc.
There's stuff in between the Soul Society and then the Vizards, and then when they're in Weko Mundo, and then there's stuff while they're in Weko Mundo that you can just cut out. Like, when there's one point where Ichigo essentially goes full hollow, and
and then like the next episode is like 6 filler episodes.
Yeah, I think it was more than 6, but yeah, immediately after it was just a bunch of fillers.
The only thing they did in that section that was cool was the actual the time thing where they went back in time and they showed how all the
Vizards
actually got the way they were.
Yeah.
And Drew's like, I remember Bleach was a show. I saw an episode once.
The thing is, I can't believe I still remember a lot of like these names and stuff, like the group names and things like that. Like, some of the captains I'm a little fuzzy on, but everything else I'm like, wow, how do I remember this shit?
But anyway, I watched an episode of Assassination Classroom.
Okay.
I don't like that show.
I'm assuming that's an anime?
Yeah, it's the one with the guy with the big yellow smiley face head.
I don't know.
Oh, I figured you would have heard of it. So it's like this weird monster, this octopus monster, basically. Like, he's got like 8 like tentacle legs, arm things, and his face is just this big yellow face that changes color occasionally.
Okay.
He blows up most of the moon so that the moon is stuck in a permanent crescent.
Okay.
and then tells the planet Earth that he is going to do the same thing to Earth in 1 year if they can't kill him. And then he makes an agreement that he will not hurt anybody else if they allow him to teach a school, like a class, like a middle school class, for 1 year to train them to kill him.
Okay.
And so that's the show picks up with he is teaching this class of like 13-year-olds, and they're all supposed to kill him. And
That's
if they kill
interesting.
him, they get like $10 million.
That's interesting.
But he's super fast and super strong, and apparently the best teacher they've ever had, though. And like the concept sounded interesting, but I did not like the execution at all.
Yeah.
Like just something about it just
There's been a
missed
lot
the
of
mark.
There's been a lot of anime I've been wanting to watch, but I only watched 1.5 episodes of Luke Cage so far. So I want to like watch Luke Cage before I get into any other series.
Yeah.
Like I want to watch Luke Cage, and I still haven't watched it. I want to watch Altered Carbon.
Yeah, I want to see that too, actually.
But I did see a video for I believe it's Japanese. It might have been Chinese. I'm not sure, but it was for a movie called As the Gods Will, where it's essentially the gods are bored, so they decide to run trials with people using like children's games. So the one movie I saw, there was this head in a classroom with a bunch of kids playing red light, green light. And so every time it turned its head and saw things, anything that moved, it would overfill their heads with marbles and explode their heads off.
Fuck.
That's
Yeah.
that's something. Okay, all right.
It was the most ridiculous thing I ever seen. I'm like, I want to watch the rest of this. So I'm gonna look into seeing if I can find a download version. Like, I think it's in multiple parts on YouTube from what I read, but I want to try and just get it all in one.
But yeah, other than the anime, I'm still watching Glow. We're on the second season of that. That's a really good show.
Yeah.
I'm glad we started watching it.
We watched the first couple episodes of season 2 for that.
So it gets better later on in the season once they're actually like doing stuff, and it's not just them all auditioning. And then so the second season, it's still.
But, I mean,
good.
we binged season 1 the weekend it came out last year.
Oh, I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought that you were just saying that you watched the first episode.
No,
of
the
season one.
first
You meant
couple of season 2.
Sorry, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's kind of a slow build up, but like it's interesting enough to keep watching.
Yeah.
And by the end of the season, you're like, oh no, this is actually a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
You'd probably like it, Rich.
Maybe. I've got too much to watch, and I'm not going to watch any of it right now.
But other than that, I read some comics that I want to briefly mention. Shut up. We let you talk for half an hour about Monster Hunter.
It wasn't a half hour.
It was.
I think it was like 10 minutes tops.
It was 30 minutes.
I don't think so.
It was. I was timing it. It'll be less than that when I cut out all the silence, but it was 30 minutes.
There was no silence. I was talking about Monster Hunter. I don't make silence.
You pause every so often. So Bendis is full swing on Superman now.
Yeah.
Man of Steel 6 came out 2 weeks ago, and then Superman 1 came out this past week.
Yeah.
They telegraphed kind of what was going to happen with his son and Lois pretty much from the get-go as soon as you find out what was happening. But it's still kind of wrapped up well. Like, they kind of make you think that, like, they're missing or maybe they're dead or something. And, like, really, they're just kind of on an adventure out in space.
Yeah.
So, like, everything's cool. But it was a good way to kind of give Superman that weird... He's worried for his family because he can't talk to them, but knows they're safe. But he actually has to still stay on Earth and be Superman. Meanwhile, like, his fortress is destroyed. Shit's just kind of all over the place for him right now. And the one cool thing they did was he rebuilt the Fortress of Solitude in the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay.
Because why the fuck not? And then Batman 50 was the wedding issue between Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah.
And it was this weird thing where it was like every other page was actually like a page of like new art for the story, where it's like Batman and Catwoman are each getting ready for the wedding. They're getting their like witnesses and like the judge and getting dressed and everything like that. But then between those, there's a bunch of guest artists where it's all these just single page like splashes of the two of them in like different poses and costumes from throughout the years. So
interesting.
Catwoman in particular has had like 24 different outfits that she's worn in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
And like Batman just has different styles of costume depending on like who was drawing them for the most part.
Yeah.
But then like you also have like there's a time where like his bat symbol was more yellow than black and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of artists that have either worked on them in the past, like Frank Miller was there, Jim Lee, Greg Capullo, and then just a lot of like current roster of like DC artists. But every one of those pages were, it was rotating back and forth of one page would be Batman talking about him, like about his impression of Catwoman, and then the other pages were her doing the same thing for him.
Yeah.
It was a really well done issue for something like that. Where
sounds adorable.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't end great, but like it was a good issue. And it definitely set up, because there's a Catwoman book now too. So like it actually set up what comes next in Batman and the Catwoman book pretty well.
Okay.
Amazing Spider-Man #1 also came out. Dan Slott finished with 801 and they relaunched it #1 again because fuck Marvel. DC does it too though.
And then they're going to renumber it 802 in a like 2 months.
Yeah, in like 6 months when something happens, it'll go back to... it'll be 807.
Yeah.
Because it'll be 7 issues between now and then.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous about Nick Spencer taking over. He writes good books, but he's one of those guys who he's all about like mystery and build up, and it almost never pays off.
Okay.
Like he's the one that did Hydra Cat, like in the comics, where like Captain America was Hydra and everything. And it was this super cool idea leading up to it, and then when it got to the event ended super lackluster.
Okay.
And like he's been on a few other books where like he set up all this cool stuff, and then he was off the book before he ever got to finish any of it.
Yeah.
He did that a little bit here, but he did it in a way where even if some of this stuff doesn't get fully explained, it like plants these seeds that like other writers can definitely follow up on and take in their own direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it keeps a lot of what Dan Slott did still, while also kind of starting fresh. It's like Slott was on the book for a decade. So like he had a big effect on like that book for being on it for so long. But the best part about it is Ryan Otley is the artist. Robert Kirkman has another book other than Walking Dead called Invincible.
Yeah.
I think it is the longest running indie superhero title, maybe. Like it's a superhero book not by Marvel or DC. And it went for almost 200 issues, and all 200 issues were just Kirkman and Otley. Like Kirkman was writing it and Otley did the art. So like this guy has not done another book other than Invincible since like 2004. And Invincible just ended this past year. So Marvel snatched him up and put him on Spider-Man. And that guy's art is real good. And it fits Spider-Man really well because he does like body contortion and stuff really well. And Spider-Man's always in like those weird sort of poses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the last two are the Star Wars, two of the Star Wars books. Poe Dameron's book is like caught up to the movies now.
Okay.
So the most recent, it's really weird. The most recent issues have been Poe, Rey, and Finn on the Falcon at the end of Last Jedi, talking and like basically like catching up and meeting each other for the first time. And Poe has been telling the story of what happened to him between him and Finn escaping the First Order and him showing back up on Maz Kanata's thing.
Okay.
But this most recent issue was actually them talking about the run on Starkiller Base.
Okay.
And the whole issue is just shots of that, like the X-Wing squadrons trying to attack it and Han Solo doing stuff and like basically like the dogfight part of Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And there's all this text that goes along with it of somebody like telling the story and, you know, we lost this person, we lost that person, this one went down. I don't know who was in this ship though, but I'm going to find out who it was and make sure they're remembered. But you don't really know who's talking. So like the whole time, cause like you're like, okay, it's Poe, so Poe's probably telling the story. And then it starts talking about him. It's like, okay, is it Leia? Nope, they're talking about Leia now. It turns out that all of this really kind of heartfelt and really good dialogue were BB-8 and R2-D2 talking. So like it gets to that page and it's those two in a hallway and 3PO is like behind them. He's like, can you two knock it off? You're bothering everybody with your beeping and booping. And like granted, like 3PO knows what they're saying, but he's being 3PO about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it was just one of those like, that's a really well done like idea. Like that was a good payoff for like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, books and even the movies, the comics, they never really show you what, like, the droids that can't just talk are saying. It's always just inferred, or, like, occasionally they'll have, like, if Luke's in his X-Wing in the movie, he'll see the little readout on the screen and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or he eventually just learns how to understand them, even though...
So, like, they learn how to understand Chewbacca, but they never fully understand, like, the droids. They just learn to infer, like, what the tones mean, essentially.
Yeah.
And then the Darth Vader book is in that weird in-between spot right now where it's between episode 3 and 4.
Okay.
So, like, he's actually still young, essentially. He's not, like, an old man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fucking badass.
Yeah.
And he's bummed out that the Jedi are basically all dead, so he has no one left to hunt. So he makes Tarkin, like Grand Moff Tarkin from the first Death Star,
Yeah.
put together a hunting party and hunt him just to see if anybody was worth his time.
Huh.
And it's this whole issue of and you don't realize that till the end. It's this whole book of Tarkin trying to kill Vader with this whole group of, like, mercenaries on, like, this one random planet. And you think, like, shit just went south. And at the end, like, he finally kind of, like, traps Vader, gets him, like, shocked by lightning, and, like, Vader's, like, on the ground unable to move. And he thinks he's won, and then, like, you just see Vader's hand come up, and then, like, the next panel is the dude, like, on the ground choking.
Yeah.
So it just shows... It was just a really well done story showing, like, Darth Vader was actually super badass. By the time, like, he was an old man, though, he was a robot. He couldn't move anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, comics aren't always bad. So the Star Wars ones in particular are actually pretty good.
So there's been some comics I've been wanting to get into. I just don't. I don't have the time or the money for it right now.
A lot of the Star Wars books are good. They're getting a little too long at this point. Like, I think that the main Star Wars book is just hit 50.
Yeah.
But, like, it's been around for, like, 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
So, like, that's expected. But, like, the Darth Vader book, I think, is, like, 7 or 8 issues in, because they relaunched it as, like, the original Darth Vader book was actually concurrent with, like, the Star Wars book.
Yeah.
And this one is, like, in the prequel era. But yeah, those books are generally good, and Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 inches behind on them, but, like, those books shouldn't be as good as they are, like, at all.
Like, that's what I want to read, like, the kind of obscure, like, I want to read Power Rangers, I want to read Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles is really good, but at this point, it's 85 issues in.
Yeah.
Of the, like, current IDW run.
Yeah.
I think Power Rangers is, like, 20, which isn't too bad. Like, that's a couple trades.
Mm-hmm.
Archie is also really good. That one actually just finished. The Archie, like, reboot run is over, so it's just 32 issues. It'll be, like, 5 trades.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess unless either of you have anything else.
Nope.
No, that's about it for me.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. You can find more of our content over at www.one-quest.com. You can help us by supporting us over at patreon.com/onequest. You can find more podcasts on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, or any other place you like to get your podcasts. We're on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline. We are at @1_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can send us emails at social@one-quest.com. And that'll do it. We'll be back next week, probably with, like, Comic-Con stuff to talk about. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of trailers and garbage coming out of there.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.